Welcome to another Friday Arse show. Welcome, guys, welcome. We're on the eve of the Everton game tomorrow. We've all had our birthdays this week. Mine was Monday, Ryan's was Tuesday, Cory's was Wednesday. Happy birthday to you, fellas.
Happy birthday to you.
Now, would you believe it? That fucker is 40 years old. And he looks the youngest out of all of us.
Yeah, by a long shot.
I told these guys
in so many ways it's wrong.
Yeah, it's wrong, but it's right. You know,
it feels right.
Yeah, it's very right. young and handsome looking. Yeah, so
young and handsome. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck off. Just fuck off. Anyway, guys, how are we doing? Ryan, go on.
Good.
Mate. Oh, go on, Cory. Jumping in because he's 40. Like your eldest has to jump.
Yeah, exactly. Respect your elders. You know, I go first. No, I'm good. I'm having a little drink. It's Friday. You know, it's weekend. Feeling good. Feeling great.
Feeling good. Got a big game tomorrow, haven't we?
Yeah, we do.
The way we're playing, every game is big. So.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
You know,
definitely not wrong there. I can't believe he's fucking 40. Can't get that out of my head. Man, what do you use? Do you use like sort of? Is it breast milk or something? You just.
Oh.
Is that what you rub?
I could tell you, but if I tell you, I have to kill you. And
can't tell the whole show, mate. You can't tell everyone.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't want everyone to walk around looking like this. Otherwise, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm at a disadvantage. So yeah, sorry.
You can't give away that fountain of the youth, can you?
Yeah, I can't.
It's not semen or anything like that, is it?
It's definitely.
Sorry.
It's definitely not semen. No, not that I'm, rubbing my skin. Maybe that I've got a healthy amount of times that I release it, and that might have something to do with it. So.
And speaking about semen, we're going to go to the kitchen wanker himself. Come on, Ryan, how are we doing?
Yeah, good as good can be, I guess. I mean, I'm happy we got a point against Southampton, I guess. It's just, I feel like the games are all like, what's the word? Sticking together. It's like one big game, rolling into one. But yeah, I hope we could put out a lineup that doesn't make me scratch my head. Granted, with Xhaka not playing, so that's a big plus for me. So yeah.
Oh, he's got the next 2 games off.
Yeah. Yes. And we need to enforce that. Yes, Max. Xhaka has the next 2 games off. He has straight red, not 2 yellows. He was convinced Xhaka got 2 yellows, but
it was a straight red. He rescinded the yellow, didn't he?
Yeah. But yeah, no, Gabriel.
Well, speaking about Southampton, mate, let's go. We'll dive into a little bit of it because, me and Manny did a show about it on just not long after the game, to be fair. So we'll just dive in and I'll get your 2 guys. Cory, we'll go with you, mate. What did you... Go on, mate. Just go into it.
It was better, but not good. So, I like the fact that there was no Xhaka. I like the fact there was no Willian. I like the fact there was no Bellerin. I felt like Pepe done a bit better than what we've seen from Willian of late. Maitland-Niles was okay. Tobias was sort of okay, First half, shit, pretty much. Second half, a bit better. Walcott scoring was bound to happen. When you're in this type of crisis, shit like that just happens. Ex-players will score against you. So I wasn't surprised about that. But the form that Southampton are in and the form that we're in, coming away with a draw, going down to 10 men is not that bad. Gabriel, I mean, you got 2 yellows. Like the second yellow, we see defenders do it all the time. I don't understand it. I don't understand why you decide to start clawing and grabbing onto a defender when they're gone. You know what's going to happen, especially with VAR. But I guess none of us are footballers here, so I guess in the moment you're just sort of desperate for that player not to get away from you, and you do it, and then afterwards you're like, oh shit. And with him, it's like, he's playing with, he's been one of our better players throughout all of this, and we haven't really had to criticize him. And so I think with him, he's desperate to actually sort of, get some results going, for us to win a game. So when you are desperate, I think you do tend to do things like that. So I'm not holding it against him. He's been good for us.
I'll agree with you there. I just think he got suckered in. Suckered into the challenges, and I think that was the issue for him. It's that, he's not come from a Premier League team. He's come straight from the French, a French league into it. I think he came from. So I think he just got suckered into them sort of challenges, which you don't normally do, but. It happens. You can excuse it, can't you? Just because it's like, well, it's his first time he's ever done it. So
exactly, it happens. But the positives from the match, Aubameyang getting a goal. Because I said, I think a couple of shows back, I said he's the guy that we need to score. Because we need his confidence to be up more than anybody else's, really. Because even when we were still criticizing a lot of players last season, it was Aubameyang's goals that were actually sort of getting us results, and getting us to the later stages of the FA Cup. So if there's one player we need to just, be confident, it's him. So got a goal, good. Do you know what I mean? Hopefully, that he goes on a run. It'd be hard in this team, because it did take a great run from Saka. Good dribbling, good determination, to actually even create that chance. But if we can get him feeling a bit better about how things are going, then it will put us in good stead.
Yeah, fingers crossed, because he did look really deflated after the match in his post-match interview. He really looked like a deflated man, to be fair.
Very much so. I've never seen him like that.
No.
This is the Arsenal effect. Welcome to Arsenal, Aubameyang. That now you you know what it's really about.
It's taken a couple of years, but now you know.
Now you know.
Go on, Ryan. Oh, sorry, Cory. I thought you finished, mate.
No, I am finished. I'm finished. Go on.
Carry on.
Go, right.
Go on, Ryan.
I don't want to be rude. I don't open my beer.
Why do you do it near the microphone like an ignorant twat?
I'm far away. The mic is like. Really, come on.
I'm joking.
My microphone pick is it's very sensitive. It's just like me. So the game itself, just watching it and not even like really, because I knew the score before I watched it. I was at work, but I saw a lot of like, oh, we're terrible. Yeah, the last few games I haven't seen live, so I guess in a way I kind of have a caveat of kind of getting the brief synopsis of the game. And every game, everyone's like, we're shit. And the Burnley game, I actually thought we played pretty well. Just things didn't go our way. Xhaka decided to get a red card, no big deal. This game was interesting because we came to the game, showed no energy in the first half. I kind of saw what we were doing. I saw the tactics that we were employing, and offensively, I did like what we were doing. If that makes any sense, I didn't see energy. I didn't see us like wanting to win. It just seemed like a lot of individual talent kind of seeping through. I actually thought, against many people, I thought Ceballos was our, man of the match in the first half. I thought he was great in the first half. Kind of tailed off at the end, in the second half before he got shooed off. But overall, Southampton are a good team. I think we kind of neutralized them. As for Gabriel, I did not understand the way he was playing the entire game. If you noticed, he was very high up. He held a very high line, but Tierney and Holding didn't. They kind of stood back a little bit, which is kind of weird for me because Walcott's in the middle of the field. Yes, he's old. Yes, he's, ex-Arsenal. Didn't really – I'm not the biggest Walcott fan. Sorry, Max. But he kind of just ran through Gabriel. Like, at will, he just kept running and running. And it doesn't make sense when you have a guy who's very fast in the middle of the field because he still is. He has a great burst of speed. You would think you would kind of lay off him a little bit, but Gabriel was like at their half of the midway circle. He was pushing up, and I didn't really understand it. And there were certain points where he would kick the ball out in the first half for goal kicks and corner kicks, excuse me. And it just seemed like Gabriel had came from the pub like the night before. He's hungover. He's kind of not feeling it. He's sweating the booze out, which is weird because I've never seen him play that high up the pitch. But it is what it is. He'll learn from this. And I know Scunny, you and Manny talked about this on your post game show. Talking about credits in the bank, and it's you can only hold credit for so long. It runs out real quick, and that's why we signed Aubameyang because of the FA Cup, and I agree with you guys. His credits are long gone. I no free passes for him, but kind of going back to Gabriel, it sucks. I think this is a really big game for us. I think this is a game that we really need him because I'm sure we'll get into Everton's lineup. But Calvert-Lewin is just he's unstoppable. I mean, he's got 11 goals for them. Their next guy, I think, is I don't know who it is, but I know they have 3. So really, our job is to stop Calvert-Lewin. I think Gabriel would have been the perfect guy for that. And now we're gonna have David Luiz. I'm not looking forward to that. Let's and especially with the leaks coming out. I don't know. I haven't really read anything. I don't really know anything, but it's gonna be interesting. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I think Gabriel suffered from it was the back 3 lineup again, wasn't it? It was 3-4-3. So when you're saying he pushed a higher line than Tierney and Holding, I think that was because of the way they were playing in the back 3. 2 stay back a little bit more. 2 sit deeper. The middle guy pushes forward a bit. So yeah, I get that, but I just
it just didn't make sense. Going against Walcott, of all people, he was almost to an extent, he was kind of man marking Walcott, which to me, it's he's gonna blow right past you. If I want to. Personally, the one thing I'll give Walcott a lot of credit for is he has a really good volley, and he's fast. He's fast as shit. So it's I get what you're saying, but it's you also got to know the player. You got to know who we're playing against, and Arteta used to be teammates with him. So I don't know. I just thought it was a very odd choice.
That's not going to be Gabriel's fault or choice. That's going to be that's an Arteta call. If he because if Gabriel's doing something or he's in a position on the pitch that he's not supposed to be, Arteta's going to tell him. He's going to shout at him and be like, "You're too far up. Get back." So if he's up there and he's consistently stay up there for the match, then that's an instruction from the manager. Yeah. And to be honest with you, in terms of what Arteta's doing and stuff, we're every week we're sort of picking up more questionable decisions and more questionable tactics from this man, So at this stage, I'm not even sort of looking at individual players or whatnot, unless they're getting sent off. I'm just looking at okay, what are they being instructed to do? And look at Arteta on the touchline and say, if we're seeing something that's not right, is Arteta seeing it, and what is he doing about it? What instructions is he giving to those players?
Yeah, I see that. But, I agree with you there, Cory, to be fair. Obviously, he's been told to push up a bit further than the other 2 by the manager. That's the tactics that obviously they wanted to play against Southampton. The thing that didn't work for him, and when you say credit in the bank and stuff, Gabriel hasn't really got any credit in the bank, per se. I think it was more, he got suckered in. You could tell what was happening, So it is his own fault for doing it, but you can sort of give him a little bit slight leeway with it because he's still... he's not really done it before. He hasn't really been suckered in like that before.
I mean, he's been our player
this time he did.
4 months in a row? He's been player of the month for us? So
yeah.
Okay, you've done a job for us. I get it. Cool. But it's but we need you. Especially against Calvert-Lewin. And I think to me, that's you had to do it this game. This is the one game, in my opinion, I think he would have been, would have been the guy I would be talking about on this preview show. He would be the guy that was it's him against Calvert-Lewin is the matchup that I want to see. But it is what it is.
I mean, it's getting a bit ridiculous now. All these sending offs,
Yeah, what are we at 7, and the next team's at 3.
Yeah, it's getting ridiculous. And especially in the circumstances that we're in, and 2 of them were very obviously unnecessary. It's Gabriel's I can forgive. That was in him trying to stop a player sort of going past him. But Xhaka, Pepe, it's it's ridiculous now, and it's just another thing to add to the shitstorm that is Arsenal FC at the moment, you know. But we can't get another player sent off. We have to sort of put a stop to that right now.
No more salt in the wounds, mate. No more.
And it's funny. I actually, in my same old Arsenal USA version, the first thing I said when we were on the show is I actually thanked Granit Xhaka. It's the one red card I was happy to see because Arteta just keeps playing him. Like, we don't want to see him. So Xhaka's like, all right, cool. Like, I'm gonna make this decision easy for you, Arteta, and I'm just gonna ban myself for 3 games. That's what he did. He just found a way out. He's like, listen, I'm not gonna give you the headache. I'm just not gonna play. So you know what? Shout out to you, Xhaka. Thank you for doing that.
I don't think he wasn't thinking of Arteta when he got the red card.
No, I know that, but
not at all.
He's
missing 3 games.
Xhaka's a little bitch. He's just a very emotional man. Yeah,
he is a bully in the kids in like the little, you know, like Disney movies that you see where it's like, oh, this big bad guy, and then you know you tap him on the jaw and he starts crying and running home to his mom. He's just a fake tough guy.
He's an emotional man, guaranteed. Yeah, his, you know, he does he keeps tracks on his missus, you know, tracks her phone and stuff to see where she's going and stuff. Like he's he's a little bitch. Like when guys like that can't control themselves, yeah, on the football pitch, can, like, time and time again, he's got this reputation. He's just these rash challenges and these like insolent, you know, that's what he is like. He's just overly emotional, you know, and you know, when we made him captain, and I was like, you really gonna make this man captain? You know, like, he can't even control himself, let alone, you know, a squad of players. So I don't know what he's like in the dressing room and whatnot, but it don't make no sense. And then we all saw what Evra said on Sky as well about what Henry, when he went to go to Henry's house.
Oh my God, Evra, yeah. Oh.
Big up Evra for that. Big up Evra. Like, you know what?
For people who haven't seen it, because there might be people in the chat or people watching, enlighten us, Cory. What did he say?
So Evra said he went round to Henry's house one day, yeah, because they were going to watch a Arsenal match, and then he saw that Granit Xhaka was wearing the captain's armband, and he switched the TV off, and he said, "I cannot watch Arsenal with Granit Xhaka as a captain." Right, so he would rather not watch the match, and that, I mean, you know, Henry, legend, right? So
he is a legend.
Yeah, and you know, that speaks volumes. You know what I mean? He is he does stalk his own wife. I'm telling you, he's a highly emotional man, yeah, that cannot control his feelings, yeah. And so I bet he's got a million insecurities, yeah.
I don't know if you guys have this overseas, but in America, there's like these certain like tough guys. They get like a tattoo of like a sun on their belly button, and they get tribal. They get the tribal around their arm. And if you guys have that, I'm sorry, but that's like Xhaka's. That's Xhaka. Xhaka's got like sun tattooed on his belly.
Yeah,
it's like, oh,
that's it.
Look at me.
That's it. Like when you know, like, you're gonna grab someone's throat, they're gonna check it, you're gonna get sent off, and you know all of that, but you can't help but do it anyway. Yeah, you're a prick. Do you know what I mean? You are just a straight prick. If you're paying me, yeah, 100 grand a week, right, to go out there, win football matches, right, and not get sent off, I ain't getting sent off for shit. Do you know what I mean? Because I can control myself. Yeah,
I believe you. Go on. Sorry, I was just going to jump in quick there before you went on. I believe Xhaka did get fined 2 weeks' wages for getting the red card. So
good. Do you know what I mean? But it's just like this, and we've seen it. Like, I've placed bets, football bets, yeah, on if it's a derby, Xhaka is going to get a yellow. Yeah, it's a proper. Look, any listeners, like, put that bet on. Yeah, it's foolproof. Xhaka will get carded. Yeah. Anytime there's a little bit of a sort of a higher emotional intensity in a match, yeah, Xhaka's going to get carded. He can't help himself, right? So with that, the fact that he's even still playing for us, the fact that he was captain, whether it's ridiculous. Like, let's get rid of this man. He's a liability.
Yeah, this is true. And before we go anywhere further, we have been joined by Boston Ozil himself. Big up, Mike. How's it going, mate?
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you guys?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. We were just talking about Xhaka and his sending off and a bit about the Southampton game. Would you like to involve anything in there, or have you done with it?
I'm just so sick of the red cards at this point. It's getting frustrating. Unlucky for Gabriel in the last match. It wasn't a stupid mistake like we've seen some of the others, but it's a common trend at this point. You got to wonder when the hell it's going to stop. But if it doesn't stop, it's just going to get worse. I guess interesting to see how Arteta handles it going forward. But from his words, it sounds like there's some disciplinary action that's been taken internally. I like the fact that he said he doesn't want to speak about it externally. I guess we'll find out if those who are leaking the information will end up making its way outside anyways.
Oh yeah, it's club's got more leaks than a colander at the minute. So yeah, there is that. But I've just been saying to the guys there, it has been reported again, whether it's leaks or not. He did get fined 2 weeks' wages. Whether that's true or not, who knows? But the way things are going, it probably is.
And has he apologized?
No, he hasn't. Pepe and I think Gabriel apologized.
Pepe apologized. Yeah. Gabriel's apologized. Yeah. Xhaka, he's a prick, man. This is what I'm saying.
Even when he got stripped the captain's armband and he threw his shirt, his apology was in like the match day program, like the next home game. I was like,
this is what I'm saying about him.
Guy.
This is what I'm saying about him. He's like, anyway.
But his wasn't even really an apology. It was more of a statement, more so than an apology.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't even really an apology.
If you ever watch Arse Bros or anything like that, Ryan will know. It was like a max question statement / question / statement / everything else, and then under that there might be a tiny bit of an apology. So if anyone else watches Arse Bros, you'll understand. So it is one of them. But anyway, we'll get on to the Everton match now because I think I've had enough of Southampton. It was a ball draw, really. Let's face it. But yeah, Everton coming up tomorrow at 5:30 UK time. I'm not looking forward to this one, if I'm being honest. Go on, Mike. I can see you shaking your head.
I don't know. I'm past the phase. I'm very optimistic. I always like to look at the hopeful side of things. So even when Arsenal's not playing well, I always like to think it's going to get better, right? We're somehow going to pull this off. I know even in years past when Arsenal's trailing, I always had that glimmer of hope. Like, there's always that possibility that we'll turn it on for 10, 15 minutes and we'll get a goal and we'll turn it around. I have zero hope at this point. I don't know what to expect. It all looks just very boring, very predictable. We're going up against an Everton side who hit a little bit of a blip for a little bit, but they've seemed to find their form again. I think they're 5th in the league. And, what do we have to give us any hope at this point? We're not playing well. We're not really creating many chances. We have all sorts of issues in the side. I honestly fear that this could be a bad result for us tomorrow. I hope that's not the case, but I just have this. Ancelotti's an experienced manager. He'll have these guys ready to go. They'll smell blood. I just don't see where the hell this turns around. And going away to Everton doesn't seem like a recipe for a good outcome.
Well, yeah, to go on to that, I've just been looking at the last 5 games. We have lost 4, drew 1. They have won 3, drawn 1, lost 1. And it's not as if they haven't beaten crap either. They lost to Leeds, which I think was a big shock for them because it was at home. But they also, in the last couple of games they've played, they've beat Chelsea at home and they've beat Leicester away. So they're no mugs, and they have a flying forward team at the minute. And a flying midfielder in, is it Alan, who's looking really...
He's not playing.
Is he not playing?
Him and Rodriguez were ruled out today.
All right.
But who we don't have any creativity in the midfield, and they got someone like Cory. Like who is going to break that down, right? Like we already struggle with creativity. Who's the steal in the midfield to help match up against that?
So you see the thing is, when we played them last time, we beat them, right? It's 3-2. Right? You look at that team. Right? You had Pepe in there. You had Ozil in there. Nketiah was starting up front. Bamiyang in there. So it's going to look a bit different this time around. But let's be real, yeah, this is a nightmare matchup for us with things as at the moment. I'm hoping that a draw against Southampton is gonna, with 10 men, is gonna sort of lift a little, put a little something inside of the players to say, okay, we went down to 10 men, but we still didn't get beat. That's so they can go into this feeling a bit more positive, feeling a bit more upbeat. But that's a hope. I don't actually know if that's going to happen. But like you said, they just beat Leicester. They're flying. They're 5th in the league at the moment. They beat us. They're back in the top 4. It's going to be a long match. I don't know. Nobody's going to put money down on Arsenal getting a win in this match away to Everton. I think the best we can hope for is a draw, to be honest with you.
Before I go to Ryan quick, I'll let you answer this one, mate. DWTT mentioned, it says here, park the bus FC. I don't mind. We will need to utilise that versus Chelsea. Do you reckon we should park the bus on this one, or to go back to that formation we played against Southampton, or do you think we should just think fuck it? We're not hopeful anyway. Let's just stick 4 in defence and just go for it.
See, I think when we were parking the bus, I know people were saying it wasn't attractive football, it wasn't pretty, but we're getting results. And, our defense has been shit for so long. So for me, it was a breath of fresh air. But it's different for this game because I just think Calvert-Lewin is on a completely another level. I think he's probably, I don't know, I'd probably have to think about it, but off the top of my head, I think he's probably the best striker in the Premier League. I think he's that good. He's someone that could score any which way with his head, with his feet. He's fast. He gets in the right positions, and he's fairly physical. So to me, it's gonna just come down to us locking him down. And I think if we park the bus, I think he's gonna find a way. I think he's just gonna find a way to go right through us. So with that being said, to me, I think you just gotta pray he has a shocker, play 4 in the back. I really thought we were gonna see Ainsley. I can't pronounce anything. We're going to see AMN in the midfield, and he played right wing back for us. So yeah, so I'm guessing he's going to go Ceballos on any again. I don't know, but we are missing that creativity. I hope see, there you go. Saka can maybe get into the middle of the field a little bit, because I really think he can help us create. You saw what he did for our Southampton goal. He was the reason why we got that goal. And just the fight and passion he's shown for us in the last game, the last few games, I think we need it. And, we also do need someone like a Pepe just to, get that magic going. Because, to me, he's the Alexis Sanchez of our team. Sanchez will fuck up like 7 or 8 times, but it's like those 9th and 10th times he'll score some. He'll turn nothing into a goal. So it's tough because, like I said, I want to park the bus. I think it's our best way of winning games now. I just think Calvert-Lewin's too good. So I think at that point you just kind of have to put out your some offensive firepower and hope to get some magic going.
That's a fair point, mate. It's a fair point. Mike, do you agree, or would you go something slightly different?
We concede way too often. So I think the thing with the parking the bus was it wasn't pretty, but the only thing that was saving us while we were parking the bus was individual plays, Aubameyang, right? That was the only thing that was saving us, because if you take the individual plays out of it, we were shit, right? There's no other way around it, right? Like in the FA Cup, right, we had those, Aubameyang had a good run, Pepe had a nice goal that was called offside. But apart from that, like I said it from the beginning, I get that Arteta wants to create some organization in this team off the ball, right? Which I think was key, right? We've seen way too many times over the years that players are running at our defenders, our midfielders are chasing them. It's just a nightmare, right? Our defenders are getting run ragged. I get that he wants to build some sort of organization off the ball, which I think he started to achieve. But because of that, the team has to be able to attack as a whole. We don't have those types of players that can break like an Alexis Sanchez, like a Santi Cazorla, who can break one or two lines of pressure, spray the ball out, and send us on the go, right? We don't have that type of player on our team today, right? So it's either we all go or none of us go. And more often than not, it was we don't all go, but Aubameyang was able to pull something, pull a rabbit out of the hat and get us a goal or create something out of it. So if we park the bus, given that we're shot for confidence, we don't have any creativity, we're going to be lucky if we get out of our half more often than not. If we go for it, who do we have that's going to stop, the likes of Richarlison, his pace, his creativity? Who's going to stop the likes of Calvert-Lewin, his pace getting in behind, his strength, his ability to get on the ball in a cross, right? Like, there's just so many question marks, right, for the way we even line up with this that, do they go with the approach of Mourinho, right? Let's absorb the pressure, right? We know that when they get in our third, they're not able to create much. And then we hit them on the break with the likes of Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison, right? And then we're back at square one, right? Like, oh, great, we feel good about ourselves. We're in their half. They're giving it to us, right? And then one bad pass or one bad decision, and we're behind again, right? And it's just like the same story over and over again. It's frustrating.
Yeah, and with Gabriel being out as well of this game, you're going to look at the likes of, it's either going to be Mustafi coming in or David Luiz, which, against someone like Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin, it doesn't bode well, does it, to be fair? And I think with Bellerin, he'll be back in this game as well because he only served a one-match ban, not three.
Oh, my God.
You'll probably see him back on the right, which that's your battle with Richarlison. So it's...
And then you can't... Can you put Pepe there at that point, right? Because Pepe doesn't really help defend, right? Bellerin's not very good. Bellerin's not very good defensively lately, ever since his injury. And now you got two guys on the right that can't really defend much against the Richarlison. I think it's just a nightmare. I don't like. Yeah. I'm not a fan of AMN, but I would almost put him there because I think he gives us more than Bellerin can.
Yeah, he's a better defensive player, and he's better at breaking the lines, which what you were saying, and is better at the holding it. Toby, another Arse brother, he says absorb and break, which it could be right. And I think, I missed his early one. Our approach may suit playing away. I assume that would be the 3-4-3 there, Toby. Cory, how would you like to see us set up? How would you like to see us play?
Absorb and break.
Yeah.
To be fair, look, what when you look at our dangerous players, what are their strengths? Pace. So you've got, you're talking about Aubameyang and Pepe and whatnot, all right, dribbling and pace, which we haven't been doing anywhere near enough of. Okay, so we've been playing three at the back, and obviously we changed it for a bit, and then we went back to it and whatnot. No Gabriel. We're going to need more bodies in that part of the pitch. Everton are probably there at home. They're going to have the lion's share of the possession. They're going to feel confident. They're going to be coming onto us and whatnot. They're going to be putting the pressure on us. So, they're confident. We're not. Let's just try and hit them on the break. With Pepe, I just feel like he's just been mismanaged at Arsenal, to be fair. I don't necessarily, because when I watch the way that we set up and the way that we play, I can see that it's not suiting a player like him. It was a similar situation with Walcott, where sometimes a lot of the time the ball will be played to his feet, and I'm like, you're not going to get anything from Walcott that way. Walcott cannot beat players and dribble past them and do anything. You have to play it in front of him. He's got a point to where he wants it. You have to play the ball there, let him run onto it, and let him get a shot off. And I see this Pepe the same sort of way. When I saw him at Lille, it was the same thing. It's just like, play it in front of me, let me run onto it. My left foot is lethal. If I can just touch it once or twice and then get a shot off, then we're going to score goals. I think we have to do the same thing now with him. Same with Aubameyang. Don't play it to his feet. If you play it to his feet, he's out wide, he's just going to cross it. And he's going to cross it to nobody. You got to play it in front of him. Break. That's where we're at our most dangerous.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And I was just about to mention about Aubameyang as well. He's another one who doesn't really like it being played to his feet. He prefers it in front of him so he can run onto it. So, yeah. Sorry, who was just about to jump in then?
I was just going to make a comment on Pepe on the right. Have you guys noticed that Pepe doesn't get to the line and cross, right? One, because he's a lefty playing on the right? He naturally wants to come inside. If you don't have an outside back that gets down the line often enough to create problems for their outside back, it's not going to work more often than not. Why? Because they know he's coming inside, right? He's not. If he wants to go to the line, great. You're not going to cross with your right foot, right? We know you want to come back. If you have Bellerin going, if Bellerin could do what Tierney does, get down the line, get crosses in, create problems, I think Pepe would be much more effective because he has more space to operate. There's another decoy there for him to move in between lines. He doesn't have that with Bellerin. Maitland-Niles does it better than Bellerin. But if he doesn't have someone to complement him to be able to come inside, but then you have on the other side, Tierney is doing that for Aubameyang, but he's just in a complete shit form that it's not really going anywhere. But I would be interested to see if Bellerin could get some form or Maitland-Niles could get down the line more often to create problems for their left back. That should give Pepe more space to come inside, to get in between lines and create problems.
Yeah, that's definitely an issue with Bellerin, and I point it out quite a lot. And if anyone, Ryan will know because he's in the same chat as us for the Arse Brothers, because we do the 3-2-1-1-2-3s. I've often said in our private chat or our WhatsApp group that Bellerin pisses me off because he's constantly cutting inside and he's always in the halfway line. So when people go down the right-hand side, which is we're really going to struggle with, I think, against Richarlison, Bellerin's going to be in no man's land. Ryan, have you got anything you'd like to add?
I mean, yeah, I was just going to say, I think that should be Pepe's job. I think Pepe should be the guy taking the ball and cutting into the middle field, but Bellerin's doing that. And I offensively, I don't think Bellerin's really that bad. He does offer, he takes on a few guys. He has a few successful dribbles a game, but it's if we lose the ball, example, both Tottenham goals, it's like you might as well just put, give him a goal right before, before the ball even hits the back of the net, and it's frustrating because I think when Arteta kind of came in, he wants to instill this defensive structure and kind of tighten us up in the back. But then he's focused. But then when we attack, we're focused on our wing backs are just gliding up the pitch. And Tierney's done a good job for us. I again, going to our Arse Bros chat, we're constantly giving him positive points. But someone like Bellerin, he takes on a few players, cuts in the middle of the field. That's not his job. If that's the case, and Tanner, the Bearded Gooner, has said it on multiple podcasts with me, play Bellerin as a right mid. I know it sounds crazy. He's never done, but the way he plays, what suits him the best is to put him as a right midfielder because he's not doing a job for us at right back. And that's why I want to see Maitland-Niles playing in the midfield, but as a right back, I think our only logical option is AMN because I don't really like Chambers there. I've said that multiple times. I want to see Chambers play. He just played tonight, so he's not going to play for us tomorrow. He actually scored the U23 game today, so that's good.
What about Cedric though? I said it when we signed him.
I don't like him. I don't think he's any good, but
really,
I do like his set pieces. I think he's got his kicks have nice power and pace to him. But defensively, I think he's just as inept as Bellerin. I obviously think he's a little bit better than Bellerin defensively, but I just when he came on in the Southampton game, I don't know. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing the signing. I don't understand why we extended him. I kind of saw why we brought him in. He came in on a free, even though we paid X amount of money to Southampton. He came in on a free, and we had so many injuries. Chambers was out. I think Holding was still out. Bellerin was coming back into form. So we needed kind of that coverage, and it was cheap. He could play both sides. He could play left back, right back. And I give it to him. He does have a good, kick, and he's good at set pieces. But, our set pieces have been shit. So I don't know. And we apparently brought in a set piece coach. So, that hasn't really bowled for us. So I think, and like you guys are saying, Richarlison's going to be a problem. I do. I'm more worried about Calvert-Lewin, but if we have Hector Bell on the right side, Richarlison is easily, capable of scoring. And also, let's not forget, on the other side of the field, we have Iwobi. So, Walcott scores against us. Obviously, if the Arsenal script writers are going to stay to form, well, he's going to probably score 2 against us, maybe assist one of them, right? So it's, it's you want to plug the holes of the ship, but you got a napkin and a straw. So what do you do? I don't know. I don't think we have the personnel to figure it out.
I was just going to point out quick, and I like what Mike said there about Cedric. I was going to say, why don't we play Cedric in that? Because he has been playing with Pepe in the Europa League squad. And
I think AMN is better with
But
Pepe,
then again, you got to think them two have got a little rapport going now. So wouldn't it make sense to put Cedric into that?
Yeah, I like Pepe. Like, you know what? If you look at last season when Maitland-Niles was playing with Pepe, that was when we probably got the best out of Pepe. Sometimes, and Maitland-Niles was a guy that sort of would just bomb up that right. Do you know what I mean? He's not afraid to sort of take a defender on, drop a shoulder, do a step over, whatever. With Pepe coming on the inside, playing 1-2s with him and whatnot. I do feel like just somebody that just does the basics in terms of like attacking would benefit Pepe, because then it gives him a bit more freedom, as opposed to like what Michael said with Bellerin sort of coming inside and, not too sure what he's going to do. We just need somebody that's actually just a bit more structured with that, to allow the player that has got a bit of magic about him, a bit of unpredictability about him, to actually go and do what he does. So I wouldn't be against Cedric coming in. I have liked him in the Europa League. I still kind of agree with Ryan in that he's not great, but he's just a Premiership sort of mid-level right back. But sometimes that's just what you need, somebody that you just know what he's going to do. He's not going to fuck things up. He's not going to do nothing magical in the attack either. He's just going to do what he's supposed to. He's going to do his job, and then let the other guys that have got the real talent do what they do.
And we
signed him.
He was fighting he couldn't get into the Southampton team. He was struggling to get into the Southampton team when they were not good, when they were terrible. I don't even remember who took his spot. Some younger guy took his spot, and that's why he wasn't getting game time. He was kind of hurt. And then
Milan.
What's up?
He was at Inter Milan.
Inter Milan? What do you mean?
Yeah, he was on loan at Inter.
Was he?
And he was getting into their squad.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you know what I've learned about Arsenal, right? In terms of like players that have come that weren't getting into other teams. If you look at our like sort of invincible team, right? Henry couldn't get into the Juve side, or he was being played out on the left wing, right? Vieira couldn't get into the AC Milan side.
He was 16.
Okay, yeah, but
he was like a young lad, 16, 17.
But same with Anelka. Anelka couldn't get into the PSG side, right? Before PSG were the PSG they are now, right? Forget about that. Forget about what players did at previous clubs, right? Because sometimes when you're just in the right club with the right manager with the right teammates, it can all click, and you can turn it around. So I'm not going to pay too much attention to what Suarez was doing at Southampton. It's just that what I see with him in an Arsenal shirt in the Europa, I've not been displeased with what I've seen. It tells me that he deserves a shot, and I think at this stage with Arteta, you need to start trying some stuff, because these guys are not really doing anything for you. So why not? We've had like how much losses and a draw, in recent matches. So I say give him a shot. He's looked good with Pepe in the Europa. Let's try it. I mean, if it was me, I'll play the whole Europa team.
Yeah,
in the Premier League. Yeah,
wouldn't we all? There is a few comments in the chat. There's one here from Robin. We gave Cedric a 4-year contract. He cannot even get in the team when Bellerin is poor or suspended. Why did we sign him? I sort of, in some respects, I sort of agree with that. Yeah, we when Bellerin's poor and stuff, but we've got to look at the people that are getting in the team that are poor still, like your Xhakas, like your Willians are still getting constantly into the team. So I don't know. I'd like to see a bit of difference, and I think we've all said it before. Especially on either this show or other Arse Brother show. I think probably Mike has even said it before. We want to see a bit of change, a bit of difference. Show us something different. Try new people out. He's brought Pepe back from his suspension straight away, so he played his first game against Southampton. So you've got to look at it's like, well, why not try these other players? As much as I like AMN, I actually rate him. I think I would prefer to see him in the middle now. Xhaka isn't there, giving that other option off the bench to come play in the middle rather than, because we've got no Xhaka. I think Partey's still injured. And then we've got El Nene, as Ryan likes to call him, and Ceballos. It's just, I'd like to see a little bit of something change, something different. I don't want to see him the same subs bench as what we saw against Southampton when we had 3 defenders on the bench. I don't understand that.
In terms of Cedric, though, I feel like people are quick to write him off. So last year, after he came back from Inter in his loan, the only time he wasn't in the squad was when he was hurt. I think maybe only 2 or 3 times that he wasn't used when he wasn't hurt. He was a regular every time. I think he played maybe 18 games last year before he came to Arsenal and he was injured. Being Portuguese, I followed his career closely. I'm aware of kind of how he's done and how he's progressed. When we see him, I think overall he's a better player than Bellerin. I think defensively he's a little bit better. Offensively, he gives us a little bit more. He's able to put an early cross in. He's able to get to the line. Bellerin can get to the line, but his final pass is terrible more often than not, which is the problem. He finds himself in good spots, but what he does with those good spots is normally not very good. And I think for the Cedric piece as well, he's only been playing Europa League matches, right? So he's playing once a week, right? It's difficult for you to build some sort of fluidity and motivation and confidence playing, once a week in, some obscure town, in some random country, right? And you're playing with some of the youngsters, right? I think he deserves a run out with, the main squad, 3, 4, 5 matches in a row where we can finally see something from him, right? Is he capable or is he not? And I think to judge him on, Thursday night matches with normally a rotated team, I think is a bit harsh.
Yeah, I see your point. I definitely see your point there because I think I said it on the last show that we did, or it was the show I did on after with Manny. I know we keep going on about the last game Europa League teams like Molde, Rapid Vienna, and Dundalk. It's just people say, "Oh, it's the opposition," this, that, and the other. I don't understand that. You can't turn around and say about the opposition being terrible when we're in such a terrible position ourselves. In the league, we can't do that elitist thing that people seem to do and expect us to constantly win.
It's just that what we see as fans, when we see the Europa team, we see that all the sort of pressure and stress and depression and everything that we see in the Premier League, it's not there. These guys are just playing with a lot more freedom, a lot more energy, a lot more vibrancy, So when we it's not about the sort of quality of the opposition or the quality of the players that are on the pitch. It's just like these guys, whatever's going on at Arsenal, it seems that the ones that are picked in these matches are unaffected by it.
They're enjoying the football and showing.
They're enjoying their football, yeah, exactly. So they're playing with smiles on their faces.
Yeah.
So we just want to see that in the Premier League. But then when it switches to Premier League, we see Xhaka and the usual guys, and they're devoid of confidence, and that they're not looking forward. They're not looking forward to these matches. They're not. They're dreading them. They say when you play football and you don't have confidence, your legs just feel much heavier and everything just feels like a struggle. So we want to sort of combat that by putting in guys that are not affected by everything that's going on, not affected by the pressure that's on Arteta, and they can just come in and just bring a bit of like carefree football, and maybe hopefully it sort of rubs off onto the other players, and we can see a little change. That's what it's about.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I agree with that. A bit of this is what I think we're all calling for. Get some of these guys who are enjoying the football, bring them into the squad. Like, for instance, Bellerin hasn't been great of late. Bring in Cedric. He's a right back. Well, I think he can play left back as well, but he's a right back. Like for like player, swap him, see what he can do. Show us that little bit of something different. And then there's also like bring in AMN, put him in the middle, see what he can do. He's played there in the Europa game. He looked really good. And then
bring in a Balogun.
Yeah, Balogun.
Oh my God!
Keep him on the bench. Bring him on 60 or 70 minutes. Give him that. 20 minutes, half an hour. Let him go see what he wants to do. Go say right. Go do what you want, mate. go for it. It's your shot, you take it. But then we've also got players like Mari and stuff like that who've been playing Europa who look really good, but yet they've played in the under-23s again tonight. So that means they're all going to be ruled out for tomorrow, which is a shame. Mm-hmm. So this is where we're going to get, like, this is why I say we're going to get the likes of David Luiz and Mustafi in the team when really we've got these players there. Why can't you just throw them in? Say, look, this is your shot, take it. If you can't take it, you're out. You're back in the under-23s again, in the Europa squad.
That's what I'm saying. These younger players, they care, but they're still trying to form their careers. Okay, they're still fighting. They're still playing for something. They're still fighting for something. When we look at David Luiz, he don't give a shit. He's had the best of his career. It's done. It's behind him. You know, Mustafi, it's behind him. Yeah, these guys, that Willian, his best of his career is behind him. Okay, they're not trying. They've got nothing to prove. They've won trophies. They've done this. They've done that. They're not trying. You know, they're not. They don't care about Arsenal like that. They're not trying to, you know, do anything for themselves or the club that they're in. You know, but when you do have these young players, they still got their whole future ahead of them. They want to prove themselves. They want to show something. They've got that enthusiasm. Even if they don't give a shit about Arteta, they give a shit about themselves. Whereas the players that we've got on these big contracts, all they care about is picking up their paycheck. When they come to Arsenal and they're over 30 years of age, when you sign that contract, the only thing you care about is the financial security. All right. You don't care about winning trophies. You've won trophies. You don't care about the club. That club is you're playing for a club that was your rival for the big major part of your time in the Premier League. If you're David Luiz or Willian, you don't give a shit about Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? If you're Xhaka, you don't give a shit about the fans. The fans hate you and you hate them, right? You don't care. All right. If you're Ceballos, yeah, you probably want to go back to Real Madrid and do something, right? But you know, how motivated are you to do that? You know, if you're El Neni, you're a squad player, all right? So you know that you're not going to become big time at this stage in your career. If you're Aubameyang, you're 31 years old. You've signed a 250 grand that rising contract. Again, it's just about financial security. What players can we identify from what Arteta picks where we can be like, do you know what? This guy probably really wants to establish himself in the world stage as like one of the best footballers in the world. A Tierney, and we see that from Tierney. We see the effort. A Gabriel, who's 22, we see that from Gabriel. Yeah, it makes sense. These younger players that have something to play for, whether it's the club or themselves, yeah, we see the extra effort. The other guys that do not have nothing to play for, and apart from just, you know, they just there to pick up their paycheck, we see the effort that they make. So when we can see that, let's play the younger guys.
I agree with parts of that, but I would say I feel like the Tierneys and the Gabriels are more visible to the eye because we're more often than not under pressure. Whereas the likes of Aubameyang and those guys, we don't have the ball in the final third with the ball at their feet as often as we would like. I feel like those guys are constantly on the ball. They're constantly involved, which makes it, I guess, easier to be able to see than maybe some of those other guys. But I don't agree with some of those points either. Or I don't agree with some of those points.
I mean, obviously, I disagree because I think I've heard even Mike say that sometimes Aubameyang just looks like he's not running as hard.
I get that.
He's not. Yeah. So it's whether he's on the ball or not on the ball, I think everyone can still see who's actually busting a gut to actually like improve their own form and improve the form of the team. They're right there in front of us, and I don't think it's hard to see like who really is making an extra effort to get us out of this bad form.
I can agree with that. Body language is key, right? We always give Ozil a hard time.
Well, we said about Aubameyang's before you come on, Mike. Actually, I don't know if you saw the post-match interview with Aubameyang after the Southampton game. We said about his body language, and it was just like just so deflated. I've never seen it like it. That's the first time I think I felt sorry for him in all this. You know, because I have been very heavily critical on, like Cory said, I have been very heavily critical of Aubameyang of late. But I think it's just that I've been quite heavily critical of him, and I think now it just sort of proves, after seeing him after the Southampton game, it sort of proves my point. You've just got a goal. You've brought the team. You've got the team at that point, that vital point that we probably needed. That little bit of a push saying that look, we can fight for this, lads. You're the captain. We can fight for this. We can go for this. You know, we're not giving up. And he just looked so deflated at the end. And I thought, yes, I felt sorry for him, but then I was angry afterwards. Yeah, but then I was this is what I'm saying. I was quite angry afterwards. Like,
yeah,
why are you so deflated? You've broke your duck. You've snatched a point off a team that was absolutely battering us at certain quite a lot of the stages in that game. Why are you so deflated? You should be upbeat, you know. And then it went on to Walcott and doing his post-match interview, and he was laughing, smiling, and everything else. And it's like, oh, well, yeah, we probably could have got 3 points out of this. It's a shame we didn't get 3 points out of this, should I say? You know. And he even turned around and said something about the Arsenal team that they felt, you know, it didn't feel right.
He felt fear.
Yeah, it felt fear. That's it. Thank you. You know, and it's like, well, why is it Walcott? He should be more deflated because they lost 2 points out of that game. We snatched a point off him. Why is it Walcott being all happy and, you know, oh yeah, it's great, you know, being really good about it, and Aubameyang being so down in the dumps? That's what I don't understand.
And
think about these. Go ahead, Cory.
Sorry, so quickly. That showed me why he shouldn't be captain. You know, have we all seen the film 300?
Nope.
No,
never seen it.
What? This is Sparta.
Yeah, this is Sparta, right? Yeah. But quickly, so you had the king, Leonidas, who took 300 men, right, to go fight a war against like 10,000, right? Knowing that he can't win, but he don't give a shit, he needs to stand for something. He needs to make a fight. He needs to make a stand, and he's made speeches. We don't retreat. We don't surrender. We go forward. You go hard, We kill or be killed, right? That's the attitude you want if you're a leader, right? Not just be like, oh, you know, things are not going good for me at the moment. That rubs off into the whole of the squad. If Aubameyang's deflated as the captain, the whole squad is deflated. You as a leader, in any position, you know, any organization, in any field, right? You have to rise above that and be like, all right, I know things are not going well at the moment, but it's my job to keep spirits up. You know, so I can't, you pay the cost to be the boss. You're actually not afforded that luxury of being down or being depressed or whatever, letting these things get to you. That's for everybody else. They can feel that. You can't. You have to lead.
Yeah, and he, I mean, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors, right? We don't know what kind of a leader he is, you know, when the cameras aren't on. Obviously, looking deflated on camera isn't the best look for your captain. But Mike, when you mentioned, you know, Theo Walcott's reaction and Aubameyang's reaction, right? Strikers live off of goals, right? And I can only imagine what Aubameyang feels knowing that, great, he just committed a long-term contract with Arsenal. Yes, he's making a lot of money, but he's having a run out and they're not creating chances, right? Like they're lucky if they get 1 or 2 clear-cut chances per match. And I've said it before on the other podcast, if Arsenal's not 90 to 100% efficient with their very few chances, we have no chance of winning. Like, that's just the reality of it, because we don't create many good chances, right? So you get maybe 1, 2 if you're lucky. If you don't take one of those, you're screwed, right? So it's already hard enough for a striker that's confident to be that efficient day in and day out. When you have strikers who are lacking confidence, a team that's lacking confidence, it's even more difficult. And I can't imagine that he's, you know, high in confidence right now. But I think the goal against Southampton showed me at least one thing, and probably many others. Aubameyang has to play central. I get that we can play him out wide, but he's not a guy he's not an Henry, right? There's a lot of comparisons to Henry. Henry would pick the ball up in midfield and go by 3-4 players. Aubameyang's not that type of player. He doesn't dribble past people. He doesn't have good feet. Right, knock it into space, get him in outside the box. He'll work something and he'll put it in the back of the net. He's not a guy that's going to carry the ball 25, 30 yards to create something. Yes, he's fast, but he's not the same type of player. And I absolutely hate when Aubameyang plays wide and Nketiah plays central. I don't rate Nketiah. I don't think he's very good, and it pisses me off even more when Aubameyang gets out on the wing again to put Nketiah central. It just drives me nuts. I would love to see Aubameyang central with proper wingers, guys that can put the ball in the box, guys that can take on defenders and create some havoc, than having strikers who are out and out strikers playing out wide. Drives me crazy.
I think you hit it right on the head, Michael, when you said we need some proper wingers that could take defenders out of the game. And we don't have that right now. Pepe loses the ball every 5 seconds. Saka's, touch and go sometimes for us. But and that's my problem with playing Aubameyang essentially is he just gets man-marked out of the game because the team looks at our lineup and goes, what? Yeah, former gold boot winner. Cool. That's fine. What else do they have? Oh, that's it? Oh, okay, cool. We'll just man-mark him out of the game. And that's what teams do. They just focus on him. And that's why, personally, I don't like him essentially, but it's only for that reason. I think if we can maybe I'm not one of those people that think Gabriel Martinelli's the answer and he's going to be our savior and he's going to get us top 4. I don't think that. But I think with his engine and his capabilities, I think he could give teams something to worry about that we're not doing right now. And it could kind of free things up for Aubameyang and kind of give him those chances because – to me, right now, with the way we're playing, I want to play Aubameyang on the left just because he can make those runs, and I think Tierney can give him those through balls, those little dimes, those Aaron Rodgers dimes for American football fans. But I just essentially I think teams just like they're not worried about us enough because you're right. To an extent, I don't think our problem is we don't create. I think our problem is we don't finish our dinner and we don't finish our chances. But if a team knows we can't create and the team knows that like their midfield isn't really something to worry about, they're just going to take Aubameyang out of the game, and I think that's that's obviously one of the many problems is because there's way too many, but it's one of the many problems I think we need to fix as a whole and as a team, whether it's coming at it differently tactically or formation wise, but I think it's definitely down to just the players downing tools.
Martinelli's the only guy that will run at defenders with pace. Yep. Pepe is very tiptoe, get to the defender, try to beat him, come back, right? Martinelli's just go, right? Like, I'm either going to beat you, you're going to follow me, I'm going to lose it, I'm going to chase back and try to get it back, right? Think about the likes of when we had Alexis Sanchez in the team. How much attention him alone generated from the defenders, right? He opens up so much space. Why? Because he's direct. He'll go at you. He'll try that dangerous pass. He'll try to take you one-on-one, right? So it just creates so many problems for a defender. It's not easy. It's not in front of you. You don't know what the hell to expect, right? When you have a striker who doesn't have a left foot, he's playing out on the wing, you know where he wants to go, inside, right? Eliminate that. You want to go down the line, I'll give you that all day. I'm not letting you come inside, right? It's just very predictable for me when it comes to our offensive third. And for a defender, I can imagine it's just as easy and predictable to defend, right? You got a Pepe who wants to come inside on his left. You got an Aubameyang who wants to come inside on his right. They don't have any guys that are going to try to take us one-on-one. All right, we'll keep everything in front of us. We'll play a deep line. Not going to let you get the ball in over the top, and we'll see what you can do. You don't have anyone that's going to pick that pass like a Santi Cazorla or a Mesut Ozil or someone creative can pick. So we'll take our chances.
And also, I was just going to bring up Toby's comment. I completely agree. And that's kind of why I'm really I'm listening to Mike more, and I'm starting to kind of come around to Cedric playing right back. Just because I do think what he's saying, I do think he can offer that, and I do think he could maybe turn the ship around. I also think too we haven't really gave him enough Premier League opportunities.
I don't think Cedric is the answer. I don't think Mike's saying that Cedric is the full answer.
No, I'm not saying that.
Turn the ship around. I think what he's saying is offering something completely different, to what Bellerin does.
No,
Bellerin is very predictable in what he does in games.
Yeah,
Cedric doesn't tend to be very predictable in games. A lot of the time, yes, he does run that byline similar to what AMN would do. He'll run up that byline, so he'll stick to that line, and like we were saying before, and free up Pepe, like what we was just what Mike was saying. But I think that's the difference between the two of Cedric and Bellerin. Whereas, I agree with what Toby's saying here, and for people who don't watch the video, his question is, his statement is, if we speed up our passing in midfield, the attack will prosper. The build-up is too slow and predictable. This is very, very true with our team at the minute. It is very predictable through the middle. And when you have players like, for instance, Xhaka, El Nene, or El Sideways, as Manny likes to call him.
Hey, be nice.
It's and even in some respects, Ceballos, who takes 5, 6, 7 touches before he even makes a pass. That's the issue. It's not the issue. It's a issue that we are thinking it's causing us problems at the minute, and it just that little bit of midfield. And like Mike was saying, we do need that. Sorry, excuse me. That extra midfielder, I'm choking here.
But yeah,
that extra midfielder who can that creative midfielder who can look at a pass, take a touch. I'm not saying at all we should bring back Ozil. In January, that guy needs to be shown the door, and that's all I'm going to say about that one.
No, so my point of bringing Cedric up was to say that I think that kind of pushes AMN into the midfield, because I think with Toby's comment, I think personally I would like to see an AMN El Neni midfield, because El Neni does pass sideways, he does pass sideways. I get that, but one thing he
What
does,
is it with you and El Neni?
I think he's great, because I think he's very structured in what Arteta wants to do. But the thing that I really like about him, love you, Mike, is that he's quick, he's decisive, he knows what he wants to do. Yeah, it's backwards, yeah, it's sideways, but he wants to move. He wants to up the tempo. What are we? What was it? I read the stat a couple weeks ago. We're like third to last, second to last in our tempo. Yeah, it's because of Granite fucking Xhaka, Lieutenant fucking Dan. I think if you put El Neni in there, yeah, he does have that progression in him. But the thing that I really like about him is he's quick. He knows what he wants to do. Turn, pass, get rid of it. Go, go, go. And someone like AMN, he can be quick. And Mike kind of touched up on it, how we have trouble breaking lines. We don't really have that midfield that can kind of get to that second phase of the ball. I think AMN could maybe not do it completely, because he definitely can't do it by himself, but I think he could definitely help in that case, because he is technical with the ball, and I think he can successfully dribble into the final third. And his passing isn't great, but that's why I like El Neni to be his partner, because I think El Neni's quick. He's forward thinking. He can be forward thinking if we have the people running onto the field. When El Neni's playing with Xhaka is not a forward passer. He's not a forward thinker. He wants to just recycle. That's why he's a constant waste man for me. And that's why El Neni plays into his hands perfectly, because he's just going to, okay, you want to go backwards, Xhaka? Then I'm just going to keep passing backwards, sideways. Shut up, Toby. Yeah.
So for people who didn't see that, the Arse brother, Toby, El Neni was awful against Southampton.
I really don't. I'll agree. I don't think he was great. Don't think he should have been in your minuses, Toby, but that's another podcast. But I just think that's something that severely lacking that nobody talks about. Our tempo is so slow. It's so bad. And I think that's a really big thing with he who should not be named in Ozil. Ozil likes to slow the game down.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know.
He who shall not be named, and then name him straight after.
I don't know.
That just defeats the whole object.
Like that's Ozil's thing is he sees passes other people don't see. Yeah, cool, but he slows the game down. And I think for our team, for what we have in the Pepe, in the Aubameyang, we need quick, decisive passes. And I think someone like an AMN, someone like El Neni, I think they could do it if given the task. And I think that's why El Neni gets so much slack, is because he needs to be a structured player. He needs to do a job, move the ball around. But we saw when he played with Partey against Man U. I'm not saying we blew the doors off him, but they were just moving the ball around. The tempo was pretty bad. We made Pogba look like a fool even before his penalty on Bellerin. So I mean, I don't know.
Despite all the issues in the squad, I would say that if Arsenal had a player like Santi Cazorla, it would fix so many of our issues. Why?
Yeah.
That guy, he would be in our defensive third. How many times did he recover the ball in our defensive third, beat one guy, and play a 50-yard ball and get us into the break, right? That's the guy that we need. Somebody who's able – Ceballos is supposed to be that guy, but he doesn't make those passes. Somebody who's able to link our midfield with our offense and doesn't have to be in our final third. He can play it from deep in our midfield and split the defenders open, break lines of pressure, and get us moving forward. And like you guys are all saying, right, passive and slow. Why? Because we don't have a guy that's capable of playing that pass to break that pressure. There's just no one there. So it's all side to side, forward, come back, side to side, forward, come back. Right? We don't have anyone that's making runs in behind. We don't have anyone that's able to make that pass, that decisive pass, that while it might not be directly leading to a goal, it creates all sorts of havoc for the defenders and the opposing team, that now they're scrambling and trying to figure out where the hell do I go now.
And it's funny, too, because I think Ceballos' passing in the first half against Southampton was actually phenomenal. I loved his passing. We got into the final third extremely easy, but his problem is he's just so slow. Ceballos is so slow, and the thing is, and I'll admit it, I did say this earlier. I thought he was definitely the best player for us in the first half, but that was because they weren't really pressuring him. They were letting him kind of do what he wanted to do. He found those quick passes here and there, but he was making a lot of really good passes. But you give Ceballos some pressure, you kind of nig at him a little bit, give him a hard time. I do think that he's definitely, I think, too slow for the Premier League. But yeah,
the whole team's too slow.
Mate. I was just about to say the Americans have taken over, mate. We'll just sit back here.
Yeah. But listen, guys, I got a shoot in a second, yeah. But what I'm gonna say, the whole team is too slow. But when it comes to like pace of passing and whatnot, that does come down to confidence. When you're not confident, you always have doubt every time you touch the ball. So you always want to make sure, that it finds your teammate or whatnot. So you're going to take a little bit longer. Whereas when you're full of confidence, you think everything you do is going to come off. So in terms of like looking at individual players and saying like, okay, he's too slow, he's not passing it and whatnot. I think that will improve when the results improve. But I still agree that putting an AZ Maitland-Niles just cause a bit of chaos. He has got presence. The one thing about him is that when he's on the pitch, I never think to myself, oh shit, I forgot he was even playing. Yeah, he's always about. He always puts himself about. And so when you could put him in the midfield, putting himself about, he's going to misplay some passes. Yes, he's going to miss some chances. Cool. All right, we know that about him. We know he's not elite. He's not an elite level player, but he can make his presence. He can make his presence felt. He can up the tempo a bit. His enthusiasm and whatnot can rub off on the other players, and then hopefully, with that enthusiasm, the players can sort of be a bit more lifted and do something, especially against a team like Everton, who are obviously like feeling really good at the moment. And we talked about Calvert-Lewin and whatnot. Look at the change in him. And like Ryan said that he considered him, on form, the best striker in the Premier League. Calvert-Lewin, can you imagine that a couple of seasons back? Anyone ever thinking that was a possibility? But sometimes things just need to click for certain players, and then you just never know what's going to happen. So I agree with that. Put in AZ Maitland-Niles, put in Suarez at right back. Just let's try a little something different. We begged Alien Mays to stay. We brought in Suarez. There's no reason why we shouldn't be playing these players. I do think there's a little bit with Arteta that he changed his role from coach to manager, and then he probably had a big say in terms of bringing in certain players, and then with that he then feels pressure to play or not play certain players. So someone like Willian, who we're paying so much money for, he was probably really for that move, which is why he always gets to play. But then I'm kind of contradicting myself, because at the same time he probably was all for Cedric coming in and he never plays him. So that's Arsenal at the moment. It's just a bit of a mess. We just don't know what's going on. We don't know why certain decisions are being made. We don't know why certain players have to play and why some players don't get a look in. But
I think Cedric was just signed because of an injury. We just had too many injuries in the back. And I think William was brought in to provide structure, because Arteta loves structure. And he wants – I don't want to say he wants our attack to be structured, but he just wants structure in the midfield and on the wings. And William does do that, as bad as he's playing, which he is terrible. And to be fair, you could blame the player. I don't think it's all chalked up to the player, because – he was Chelsea's best player last year. I mean, you could make an argument for Pulisic, maybe, but Pulisic didn't play the whole season. I think Willian was their best player. So to go from the best player on a Chelsea team that probably they were better than us last year, to coming here and sticking up the place. Yeah, you can blame tactics, you can blame formation, and you can blame his form, but you can't chalk it up to just one thing. Taking a nosedive off a cliff is an understatement from his performances from last season to this season.
But yeah, right. but that's the thing. It's quickly, Mike. Before I go.
Go on, because I'm gonna get in, because obviously you have to go, Cory. Mike has to go as well. So we're gonna end it there. So you go quick, mate. Go for it.
I think at this point we can't even really look at individual players, right? Because like you said, William's gone off a cliff, Aubameyang's gone off a cliff. Everybody's got it's a bias even towards his form towards the end of the season has gone off a cliff. Everybody has. So we just have to look at what's going on at the club. We have to look at the manager. We have to look at the team spirit. That's it, really. I don't think we're beyond the point of analysing each individual player's performance.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fair enough, mate. And I think we will end it there. So I'll get your predictions. Go on, Cory. What do you reckon the go East scoreline, mate? Let's go for it. Let's hear it.
I can't even front. I can't lie. I think we're gonna lose. I think it will be 2-0 to Everton. And I've never predicted a loss before, but I'm gonna have to do it because that's what I think.
You're getting used to being on Arse Bros now, mate. Go on, Mike.
I hate to say it. I hate planning. I hate saying that my team's going to lose. I normally never do it, but I'm normally optimistic. I can't find any hope at this moment. Maybe it'll be reverse psychology. I expect a bad game here. I'm going to say, I'm sorry, 3-0 for Everton. I just fear the worst.
I thought Cory was bad, but you, Jesus.
I fear the worst.
Damn. Ryan?
So a thing we didn't talk about with a big thing for me.
Going on with a fucking story. Just go with your prediction, for God's sake.
Jordan Pickford is suspect in net.
Fucking mute him. He's doing my head in. Go with your prediction.
I am.
No,
right
you're
now.
not. You don't need a max statement to go with it. Just shut up. Prediction.
It's gonna be 2-2. I think Pickford is gonna gift us a goal, and I think we're gonna score another one. I think it's gonna be 2-2 because I don't think Pickford's that good. So boom, done.
All right, I've upset someone there. Look.
Yeah, you're an animal.
God, all you do is fucking talk.
Yeah, I love it.
No, I'm the same. I'm going to go with Cory. I'm going to say 2-0. I think we're going to lose 2-0. So. But anyway, on that note, thank you guys for joining. I know you two have to run off now. Cory, enjoy your weekend. Mike, same to you, mate, and to you, Ryan. Let's hope it's not 2-0 loss. Let's hope it's a 2-0 win. I don't know.
And hey, the last time I was on this podcast, we beat Man United 1-0. I'm just saying. I'm the good luck,
Right.
John. Let's
Hopefully.
go.
Well, let's hope so, Ryan. Let's hope so. We will be back on Wednesday next week. I am not doing Friday at all. I don't think anyone would if anyone would join me.
I would.
Well, you've got nothing else better to do.
Yeah. Yeah, listen.
Apart from wanking your kitchen.
A Christmas wank and I'm good to go. I'm wired. I'm ready to go.
Mate, that just brought so much crap into my head then. I don't really want to discuss
If
it.
it makes you feel any better, Mike, I'm not watching the game in my kitchen tomorrow.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good. And don't do what I'm thinking you're going to do on Christmas Day while cooking your Christmas dinner, mate. Not in your kitchen. It's not worth it. And it doesn't add flavour. Fuck off with that one.
Honey ham is
No.
delicious.
Right, again, thanks, guys. Yes, we'll be back Wednesday next week. We'll be 9:00 at night. I think Cory's joining me. Are you going to join us, Cory? And we're also going to be joined by Arse brother Toby. Mike, thank you for coming in. I know you was running late. Make sure.
Thanks for the invite.
No, you're more than welcome, mate. And I'm going to try and get you on again. It will be after the Benfica game because I know you're a big Benfica fan as well with your Portuguese heritage. I'd love to get you in on that show, mate. It will be a review of that game. Hopefully, it'll be a win for the Arsenal.
I'm torn here. I'm torn. I like them both. So
it's a hometown, isn't it? Hometown versus the team that you love. It's hard.
Yep,
hard.
it is.
Right. Anyway, thanks for joining us, everyone in the chat. Thanks for joining and putting your comments in. I'm sorry I couldn't get through them all. That fucker just won't shut up talking. So we'll be back Wednesday. We'll see you then. Thanks a lot, guys.
See you guys.